Charles Whitman, The Sniper of the Texas Tower, 1966. An ex-military officer, Charles Whitman, climbed atop the University of Texas Tower on August 1, 1966, with a sinister plan in mind. Along with him, he carried rifles and other supplies. He ended up killing 15 innocent civilians. The former Marine continuously shot at the people below, causing a wave of panic throughout the campus that lasted 96 minutes. By the time the police entered the building and shot Whitman, many innocent lives were lost, and more than 30 people were also injured. The killings rattled the nation. It was one of the first mass shootings in modern times, and it began conversations about policing models, personal mental illness, public health, and how communities might respond to violence of such proportions. James Huberty, The San Isidro McDonald's Massacre, 1984. A 41-year-old security guard named James Huberty entered a packed McDonald's restaurant in San Isidro, California, carrying several guns. He then opened fire on men, women, and children for more than an hour. He was ultimately shot and killed by a police sniper, but 21 were killed and 19 were wounded. The attack shocked the city. It also illustrated how vital police response time is in case of active shooters, and remains an essential model for law enforcement agencies to reference when responding to emergencies of this kind at the national level. Patrick Purdy, Stockton schoolyard shooting, 1989. Patrick Purdy, a nomad who had multiple arrests on his record and a mental health record, opened fire with an AK-47, shooting on a school playground at Cleveland Elementary School in Stockton, California. The shooting lasted only several minutes. 5 children were killed, and more than 30 were injured, most of whom were of Southeast Asian descent. Purdy subsequently shot himself to death. This was a shocking tragedy for the country, and it helped to set the stage for the first assault weapon ban in California. Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, Columbine High School, 1999. On April 20th, 1999, students Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold entered their high school in Columbine, Colorado, and embarked on a murder spree. The teens killed 13 and injured 24 others before killing themselves. Seung-Hui Cho, Virginia Tech Massacre, 2007. On April 16, 2007, Virginia Tech student Seung-Hui Cho committed the deadliest school shooting in U.S. history. In 2 separate attacks on campus, Cho opened fire on more than 40 people, killing 32 and injuring 17, and then shot himself. The tragedy exposed weakness in the campus alert systems and sparked probes into support for mental health care for college students. It resulted in shifts to emergency communications and school safety nationwide. Nidal Hasan, Fort Hood mass shooting, 2009. Nidal Hasan, a U.S. Army psychiatrist, shot and killed fellow military personnel at Fort Hood, Texas, on November 5, 2009. 13 people were killed, and more than 30 were wounded during the rampage before Hasan was shot and taken into custody. He later acknowledged that he had been inspired by extremist ideologies. The attack raised urgent and troubling questions about insider threats, radicalization, and what the military does to its own ranks. James Holmes, Aurora Theater shooting, 2012. On July 20, 2012, in Aurora, Colorado, James Holmes entered a packed theater for a midnight screening of The Dark Knight Rises, with several firearms. Holmes opened fire on a group of people, killing 12 and wounding 70. Fear engulfed the waiting audience when smoke bombs filled the air and moviegoers fled in a panic to flee the theater, scared for the exits. The massacre reignited debate over whether to place hard new limits on Second Amendment rights, how to manage the mentally ill, and general public safety in places such as movie theaters. Adam Lanza, Sandy Hook Elementary School, 2012. On December 14, 2012, Adam Lanza, a 20-year-old who was reportedly mentally ill, targeted Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newton, Connecticut. He killed 20 children, most of them first graders, and 6 staff members, before killing himself. Sandy Hook marked a pivotal moment in the national debate about controls over firearms and set a wave of national calls for change and continued conversations about how to protect schools. Omar Manteen, Pulse nightclub shooting, 2016. Among the deadliest shootings in the nation was that of a man who killed 49 people and injured more than 50 at an Orlando nightclub. On June 12, 2016, Omar Manteen stepped into the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida, armed with an assault rifle and a pistol. In the packed LGBTQ+ nightclub, he opened fire, killing 49 and injuring 53 others before officers fatally shot him. At the time, it was the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. For members of the LGBTQ+ community, this tragedy felt all too familiar, setting off a conversation around terrorism, hate crimes, and gun access. Stephen Paddock, Las Vegas Strip shooting 2017. Stephen Paddock mercilessly shot at people gathered for a country music festival from his 32-story hotel suite in Las Vegas on October 1, 2017. The shootings lasted longer than 10 minutes, and it was estimated that 60 people died, and 850 were wounded in the events. Thousands fled in mayhem as police raced to pursue the shooter. Salvador Ramos, Uvalde High School shooting, 2022. On May 24, 2022, Salvador Ramos, then 18, entered Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, with an AR-15-style rifle, and killed 19 children and 2 teachers. He was fatally shot by law enforcement. The events brought back fresh demand for increased background checks and so-called red flag laws. Connor Betts, shooting in Dayton, Ohio, 2019. On August 4, 2019, 24-year-old Connor Betts began shooting in Dayton's Oregon District, the nightlife district that abounds with weekend crowds. Within less than 32 seconds, Betts killed 9 people and injured 27 others before police shot him dead. The speed of the police's response was credited with averting an even larger death toll. The shooting came following a massacre in El Paso mere hours prior, fueling pressures for nationwide changes to gun laws and background checks.